Welcome to this week in the world of wrestling.
Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is our Monday Night Raw review. And this is the first Raw in a post-draft world. And Mother of God, what a show it was. I mean, you are talking about, guys, easily the best Raw of 2016. The television card was stacked. We had monumental moments, huge developments for SummerSlam in my mind. There is so much to dive into this show. It is absolutely ridiculous. That's right, this Raw was so epic, I'm bringing it back. Partner, what'd you think of this Raw tonight?
This was the best Raw of 2016, and I would even argue one of the best Raws of the last 5 or 6 years.
Bro, and you know this, I have been watching wrestling since late 2001, early 2002. So 14 years, give or take. I can't remember the last time I have been this jacked up, this turned up about a Monday Night Raw. Everybody's raving about it, including us. What a bounce back from Battleground. I know quite a few people enjoyed Battleground. It was one of those few times where we were in the minority. But, I mean, it seems universal just how great this Raw was. And that's quite apropos, given that we now have the creation of a WWE Universal Championship. But we'll get into that a little later. Man, was this show stacked.
This was an excellent show from beginning to end. In my opinion, now I know, John, that you have a few little things that you want to talk about, but in my opinion, there was not a single down moment on this show.
Oh, I completely agree. I think what you may have been hinting at was the whole Golden Truth Shining Stars thing.
Yeah.
But even that, I'm not mad about that. Let me just say that
No,
straight
I'm not
away.
saying you would be mad about it, but I kind of had the feeling that when Golden Truth segments came on, you had an eye roll moment.
Potentially, but knowing that it led into something, I can't even really complain all that much, because at least it had a purpose. And that's another word for this Raw. Everything felt purposeful. Every step they took felt like it mattered. There was no wasted motion. And let me tell you something, guys, and I think I'm preaching to the choir here, knowing our audience. When you're a 3-hour program, you can't be dicking around. It's got to be stuff that matters if you're going to take 3 hours of my time, because time ain't something you can get back. And every hour felt like it had something going on. Every segment felt like it had something going on. I know, and we got to disillusion ourselves real quick, that every Raw, can't be like this. It's not going to be like this. But for tonight, let's just bask in the glow of the brilliance of the television that was this Raw. This was amazing.
Yeah, man. Because this was just... It really did feel like every segment had a purpose. And how great is it to kind of have that justification, that feeling of, yeah, we called it, we knew it, we were right. Because you can go back to our 10 ways that the WWE can realistically improve video. What did we talk about on there? Bring back squash matches.
Yes.
Everything has a purpose. We brought up a lot of things that they incorporated tonight that made the show as good as it was.
Exactly. This was just wonderful. Hey, let's stop talking about it. Let's start being about it with our first segment, Heat of the Night. And as you can imagine, guys, I have no heats of the night, no nitpicks. I ain't going to complain. I just want to celebrate. Partner, what about you?
Same here. Nothing.
Let's fucking do it then. Let us get right into our Monday Night Raw review, and we open things up, first of all, with a recap of Battleground, but then with the actual show. We start with kind of a state of the roster address, the entire roster's out there.
And hey, can I also point out, we have new everything, new branding, new intro, new logo, new commentary team. It sounds like the new intro song is a Shinedown song.
Yes.
And we have, logo, and the set is new, and the commentary desk is no longer right outside the ring. It's up at the top of the ramp. So really, and the ropes, they were white, now they're red.
Yes.
They really are going full bore with this branding, and I actually really appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate it as well. I think
it's about time they fully committed to something, right?
Oh, yeah, I love the aesthetic, and, I mean, let me just field your thoughts very quickly. What do you think of the new announced team? I thought it had a stellar debut tonight.
The removal of JBL from commentary was a godsend.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how he behaves on SmackDown if he very quickly gets on our nerves, but I'll play the wait-and-see game with that.
I wonder if Morrow is going to keep him in check.
Maybe. That could be a very fun dynamic, actually, and I mean that sincerely. If JBL could just tone it down and be more like he was in 05, 06, that kind of area, that would be, very interesting. So, with that said, again, we have a roster address here, Mick and Steph in the ring. They talk about Battleground, how they no longer have the WWE World Heavyweight Championship because Roman dropped the ball, so they're immediately giving Roman shit. Like, we had it, and you screwed it up for everybody, Roman. And they actually, kind of praised Seth because it's like, you had that match well in hand, and then Roman happened. So their solution, and already I knew just from this solution that this is going to be some good shit.
Yeah.
We get 2 fatal 4-ways. The one fatal, well, let me just name the 8 participants, and then we'll get into the actual matches. We have Kevin Owens, Sheamus, Rusev, Sami Zayn, Chris Jericho, Roman Reigns, Finn Balor, and Cesaro. Cesaro was the 8th guy.
Yep.
Those are the 8 people.
Of all the people to forget, you forget the man that you have been in love with for years now, Cesaro.
Hey, that's why his whole angle about being miffed is so perfect, because even I'm forgetting about him now. So, yeah, I mean, that's what I think Shroommeister tweeted a pic that said, like, top of the class, and it was those 8 guys. What do you think about this, Ashton? Just the energy they started with this match announcement and everything.
I like that they immediately called out, okay, we need a champion and we're going to have a champion. And Stephanie is such an egotist that she needs to one-up Shane at every corner. So rather than the world title, it's the universal title. And
yeah.
And then, now I'm expecting Shane to make the multiverse championship. But no, like the 8 guys that they picked, I thought that was really interesting. I wish I would have gotten even if they just want to say it was random, I wish that they would have said how they were choosing the people that are going to be in these fatal 4-ways.
Right, that would have been cool. But, so we're getting 2 fatal 4-ways. The winners of each fatal 4-way, and I thought this was going to be the SummerSlam match personally, but it wasn't, are going to face in the main event on that Raw, which, again, great way to use 3 hours. You're self-aware that you're a 3-hour program. You got to fill time. And then the winner of that match, the one-on-one match between the 2 winners of the fatal 4-ways, goes on to face Seth Rollins for the right to be the inaugural WWE Universal Champion. So I love that Seth Rollins, who's still playing the heel, and now we can kill, in the water, potentially that he's, going to have a turn, at SummerSlam, probably still going to play the heel. He gets a bye immediately into the SummerSlam main event. And I do like that because I think that he is a legitimate competitor. He's going to be so fresh, and he's going to be that obstacle to overcome. So I really like that. I mean, what did you think about the rest of that?
Yeah, I mean, the Seth Rollins thing is just perfect. I love that they're not going to try and put up a front and make him jump through hoops or anything like that. They're just cutting straight to the point. You're the man. You were the number 1 draft pick, and you didn't lose on Sunday. So we are putting you at the forefront. Whoever wins these 2 will face each other for the right to face you for the title.
Love it. Absolutely
awesome.
love
great.
it. We also call Charlotte front and center because she was the number 3 draft pick. And we get announced that, she is the WWE Women's Champion. You wore the number 3 draft pick overall in the draft. She's got this smirk on her face. And they say, but you did lose last night at Battleground when Sasha Banks made you tap out. So we're going to do something about that. Tonight, it's going to be a WWE Women's Championship match, Charlotte versus Sasha Banks. I love it. I love that WWE actually recognizes, oh, wait, somebody did something on a pay-per-view to the champion. Let's not even waste any time. Let's carry it into the following night. I thought that was great stuff.
Absolutely. Yes.
And I think that was just about it. Do they have any other big announcements, bro, in the opening segment?
They talked about the 2 fatal 4-ways leading up to the championship. They talked about creating the championship. I think Balor's debut was here when he came out from the crowd.
Yeah, I love that.
And the crowd of people, the fans, were chanting, Finn, 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 Finn. And, dude, If you would have told me when this happened that he was going to win not only his Fatal 4-Way, but the whole freaking shebang and end up facing Seth at SummerSlam, I would have laughed in your face.
I had just a tiny inkling, not enough to even act on it, so I'm not trying to take any credit. But I'm really thinking, because something about the whole thing felt very Shelton Benjamin-esque back in 2004 when he got drafted. And I love, too, that when Finn emerged, it was like from a sea of main roster guys, because he's the NXT guy. Yep. And then he bursts through all these guys, and then he's front and center. I thought that was great imagery. And I didn't know how prophetic that imagery would be later in the night.
I think we're going to end up sharing a high spot tonight, because there's really only one good option.
Oh, dude, I don't even care. That's fine with me. I mean, how can you not, really, after this? So, yeah, I loved just the entire tone that this opening segment set. And here's the thing, too. For a talking segment, I don't even really think it went on that long. I think they got right down to business, didn't they? Like, match, and then we're out.
Yeah, it was we as soon as they got done announcing Sasha's going to defend the title, or that Charlotte defends the title tonight against Sasha Banks, there was Steph talking about how the first Fatal 4-Way starts now. And we went to commercial. When we came back, Cesaro, Rusev, Owens, and Balor were getting ready to go.
Exactly, and that was our first Fatal 4-Way. Brother, what did you think of this match?
To me, the highlight was before the match even started when Finn Balor was making his entrance, because Michael Cole was the MVP on commentary, put over Balor like $1,000,000.
Yes, I fucking love that. I was expecting Corey Graves to really do that kind of work, but hearing Michael Cole do it, I think it's significant because he is that veteran voice, and in WWE's mind, he is the voice of this generation of WWE. So hearing him really sing the praises and extol the accomplishments of Finn Balor, I think that's huge. And I think that sends a major statement. And can I just say, and it's funny, right? Because some people in the comments, which is fine, opinions, that's a spice of life, thought that we were nitpicking in parts for our Battleground review. I thought some people were nitpicking on my Twitter because they were like, oh, why didn't Finn come out in the demon paint? After tonight, believe me, you're getting it. You're getting it. And I thought how he came out was fine. I thought commentary putting him over was huge. I was just happy to see him there. And this Fatal 4-Way, I thought was fantastic. But again, I want your thoughts on it. What did you think of the match?
Yeah, this match was... I mean, here's the thing. This was a match of the night type of match, but then we had two matches later on that might have been even better, and one that was for sure even better.
Yes. Just crazy to think about that this Raw was so heavy on the wrestling, and not just wrestling, but quality wrestling, and even if not quality in that sense, again, purposeful.
Yeah, even this match felt like this match was like a Smark's dream, man. I mean, you've got Owens, Cesaro, and Balor in there. Rusev is a guy that the IWC as a whole seems to think is really underrated, and they think is awesome. So this just, bottom to top, this was just a Smark's dream, a wet dream even.
Absolutely. Great back and forth. I loved how they paired off straight away. Cesaro and Rusev going at, and Kevin Owens and Finn Balor renewing their rivalry from NXT. And, dude... obviously, I wouldn't call him the MVP. I'm not going to go down that road, but I love Kevin Owens' work in this match, too. I love that him and Rusev were working together early on first Cesaro, then Finn Balor, and they had a great moment where I think it was after a double suplex or something, and Rusev goes for the cover, right in front of Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens breaks it up with just enough force, and he looks at Rusev and he goes, dude, I'm right here. So good, dude. So good. I mean, what were some of your favorite moments from the Fatal 4-Way?
My personal favorite moment from the Fatal 4-Way was Kevin Owens and Rusev teaming up.
Yeah, that was so good, dude.
Kevin Owens telling Rusev, do the flippy thing, where he does the senton and then tells Rusev to do the flip senton. That was brilliant.
Absolutely wonderful.
I love Rusev, but Kevin Owens, here's the thing. Rusev might be amazing at everything, but there's nobody on the planet who's better than Kevin Owens at banter in the ring.
Yes. And you know what, though? I could talk about Kevin Owens all freaking day. You know that. But, I mean, Cesaro showed up, Rusev showed up, and the man, after tonight, Finn Balor, boy, did he ever show up. I'll tell you, man, like I've been saying a lot in our G1 Climax commentaries that you guys can check out on the channel, I've been talking a lot about change of scenery, change of mentality. Seeing Finn on the main roster brings a breath of fresh air to his matches. Because, like, yeah, he did all of it. He did the shotgun drop kicks, the sling blades, the coup de grace, but it all felt new because it was against main roster guys. I was so into it.
Exactly.
So into it.
Exactly. And that's what it's all about, too, because, like, sure, Finn was good in NXT. He was great for a while, but he started to feel stale towards the end of his run. This feels like a rejuvenated Finn Balor.
That's an excellent word. I'm not even touching that. Do you have anything else you want to say about this Fatal 4-Way? Because we know Finn picked up the win after a coup de grace to Rusev.
To Rusev! Of all people, he beat Rusev, man.
And then, you know what? Can I just say, too, because you already said at the beginning that, like, Finn won everything, so it's not like we're trying to keep anybody in the dark. To think that Finn went from, oh, he'll be great for the Cruiserweight division, to me going, oh, well, at least if he loses, he could say he can challenge Rusev at SummerSlam for the U.S. title, to this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, Finn. I'm sorry. I'll never doubt you again, man. The demon has fucking risen.
That's like back at Royal Rumble 2013 when it was all, I'm sorry, Batista, I'll never doubt you again. Or not Batista. I'm sorry, Roman, I'm never betting against you again.
Exactly. Holy shit, man. Unbelievable. All right, should we move on?
I suppose so, my friend. Up next, we had a second match of the night, Nia Jax. And they did a good job of building her up, too, because before we went to a commercial, they said, after the commercial break will be the debut of Nia Jax. And they made this big deal out of it. And then we get to the commercial, we come back, and we get Nia's theme music. She comes out, they do the Zoom, squiggly eyes thing. She gets in the ring, and it's against this Britt Baker girl who I don't think has ever been on NXT TV, but she's touring with NXT down in Florida, and she's like a jobber character, but Nia dominates, as expected.
Yeah, you know what? This was so smart to utilize. Because I'll be honest with you, bro. I was raw live tweeting for most of the show. And by the way, thank you to everybody that joined me. And believe me, Smart Show, I know you're celebrating like all hell right now, and you deserve it. It was a lot of fun. I love each and every one of you guys. But I even tweeted, I thought it was going to be Alicia Fox, personally. I'm so glad that they used an actual jobber instead.
That is hilarious because literally while Nia was getting in the ring, my mom said, "Oh, who do you think she's gonna face?" And I said, "Alicia Fox."
Yeah.
So I don't even know if you heard me, but whether you did or didn't, we had the exact same thought right there.
And I can tell you, I didn't. So our mental synergy was like ridiculous there.
Yeah. But that's just because she's like the lowest girl on the totem pole on Raw.
Yeah, and you know what,
though? She can be heel or face, so it doesn't really matter.
Exactly, but I'm so glad they didn't use her. One, because she's still an established name. Even if she's low, she is established, and Nia needs to, I think, work up from that.
I was just going to say, don't get me wrong, Nia will squash her. It's just not today.
Yes.
It's going to be eventually.
Exactly, and as it should be. This push for Nia Jax, and I want to phrase my words carefully,
it's going to be a literal exact replica of what they did with her on NXT. She's going to squash jobbers, and then she's going to squash lower card girls, and eventually she's going to find her way up to the championship division.
Yeah, I was going to say it's going to be very Ryback-esque in my mind because he started with the local competitors and then he moved up, and I see Nia Jax being the same way.
I could even see them doing something where like Sasha retains against Charlotte at SummerSlam, and then maybe Nia even comes out then.
Yeah.
That might be too early, but I think it's possible.
Yeah, I certainly agree with you. I mean, she made quick work of Britt Baker here after 2 leg drops. Second one, she initiates the pin. Dominant. I don't really think there was much of a crowd reaction for her, but something, as soon as you sick her on the fan favorites like Sasha, she'll get those boos. She'll get those boos immediately.
Yep.
Or it could be similar to NXT where she's squashing people so much people start to enjoy it, and then it sours when she attacks the favorites. One or the other, but she's got to get a reaction soon, and I hope it does come for her, so we'll see.
I think... What do you think the chances are of Sasha having a long run?
See, knowing WWE, it is probably going to be pretty likely. I personally wouldn't, because I would never want the crowd to turn on Sasha.
Well, but that's what I'm saying, though. I mean, you can't have a long babyface run and just have her win everything, so she's going to turn heel.
I mean,
You know what? I'm going to say it right now. I'm staking my claim. Sasha is going to turn heel before the end of the calendar year, and she's going to lose the championship to Bayley at WrestleMania.
And that's what I said at Battleground last night, dude.
Yep.
Remember, I said that at Battleground last night, so apparently you're, like, joining me now, because that's what I was going to say. If she is going to do a long run, she's going to turn heel at some point during it. And yeah, I even tweeted tonight, I'm sticking to my guns. Bayley versus Sasha, WrestleMania 33. It makes perfect sense. You know, like, Sasha rode all this momentum from Battleground onward, and it's funny that people, their momentum continue to decline in other ways, but we'll get to that. And yeah, you know, I definitely think they could work, but for the moment, Nia Jax, she gets, you know, the first win, the first step on the main roster. We'll see what they do with her.
Yeah, absolutely. That being said, though, speaking of Sasha, up next was her segment where the Golden Truth came up and they were playing Pokemon Go, and she got all pissy, like, "Oh, you taking a picture of me?" And they was like, "No, there's a Pikachu right behind you." And they were getting ready to grab it, and Truth is all, you know, flustered, like, "What's a Pikachu?" And Goldos is like, "Pikachu!" And R-Truth is just like, "You get a Pikachu, I'm gonna get a peek at you!" And just whatever. And then they leave. And then Tom Phillips shows up to interview Sasha. So nice little transition there.
Yeah, absolutely. We established the more comedic segment for the night for the payoff later in the evening. And then we focus on Sasha where the focus should always be, which, yeah, I think I've got a lot of shout-outs to give out with all the fandom in our comment section for different performers who all had great nights tonight. And he's like, you know, how do you feel, Sasha, about competing for the WWE Women's Championship tonight? What's going through your head? And Sasha says, you know, she's been working for this. It's been her dream since she's been, you know, 10 years old. And, you know, she says that it's a new Raw, a new era, and there's going to be a new women's champion. It's going to be the Boss. And this match, it's lit. And, you know, that's kind of how she punctuates the promo, and it's good shit.
Oh, man. She's like the youngest person that I've ever known that still kind of has that, oh, yeah, fellow kids kind of aspect to her, where it's like she says things that make it seem like she's trying to fit in, but she doesn't really say them in a way that actually sounds cool.
See, I wonder how old the phrase "it's lit" actually is, because I've seen my friends use it, and that's why I'm thinking it's relatively new or something.
I mean, no, it's been around for a while. It's just a matter of whether, you know, the different context, because I think it means different things depending on the context. I think its original meaning was supposed to be like drunk, basically, but now it just kind of means hype, you know?
Right.
And it's getting used a lot, but at the same time, Sasha just kind of forcing the "it's lit" line in there, kind of, it's more facepalmy than, oh yeah, she's awesome to me.
I don't know. It seems pretty organic with the vernacular you'd expect from the Boss, because, I mean, Sasha has said stuff, I think, similar to that before, but regardless, I like the promo. I'm guessing you like the promo too.
It sounds like something that Enzo and Cass would say, not Sasha.
I disagree. I still think you could expect it from Sasha, but regardless, what did you think of the promo besides that little bit? Did you like it?
I appreciated the promo. I mean, I thought that the idea that she thrives under pressure was a great thing to bring up. I thought that was great. And, you know, the whole idea that Charlotte's been trying to dodge her since they showed up on the main roster. I mean, you can literally go back and see that that's the truth. So, yeah, it was a great promo by Sasha.
Absolutely.
And then we got our third match of the night. The second Fatal 4-Way, Chris Jericho, Sheamus, Sami Zayn, and Roman Reigns.
I'm just going to lie with it. This match was great. Don't get me wrong.
It was okay. I mean, it was good. It wasn't great.
I mean, yeah, I thought there were some good spots in there. I like the sequence where Reigns is going for a spear. He ate a bro kick, but then Sheamus ate a haluva kick, and then Jericho tried to
personally, my favorite sequence was when Roman was singling out Sami Zayn and, like, knocking the other guys off the apron to just keep on beating on Sami Zayn.
Yes, speaking of Roman, and speaking of favorite, like, moments and sequences, I love the beginning, too, where everybody, like, mainly Jericho and Sheamus to start, and then Sammy's looking at it, and he's like, shit, they're right, he is OP, and then he joins in, they're all beating on Roman Reigns. I thought that was fucking great.
And it's also worth pointing out that Corey Graves spent a lot of the night praising Roman Reigns.
Yeah, and you gotta wonder if that's gonna culminate into anything, you know?
I mean, it's either a really good thing or a really bad thing, because it's either Corey Graves hinting that Roman's turning heel, or it's Corey Graves being an inconsistent heel commentator.
Well, let me just say this, and again, I don't want to, like I tweeted out tonight, because I tweeted a lot again with Raw Live, I don't want to feed into any bullshit, nor do I want to dish it out, but if anybody has reason, motivation for a heel turn, it is Roman Reigns after his last 24 hours. Like, you know, so we'll see. But that'll be a conversation maybe even for later in this episode. So we'll see. But yeah, this Fatal 4-Way was a lot of fun. I love to douchey Roman Reigns. Sami Zayn does a dive, but then Roman, you know, does a dive as well, his big leap over the rope, and we cut to commercial with him smirking, and I thought that was so apropos. I even tweeted, oh, you know, that's a spoiler, guys, it's a hint. And ultimately it was, because the final sequence comes down to Reigns and Jericho, and Jericho ultimately ends up eating a spear, and Reigns gets the win. Fun Fatal 4-Way. I definitely thought the first one was better, but we have our Raw main event set. It's going to be Finn Balor versus Roman Reigns.
Yeah, man. That's, on paper it looks all right, but not great, and the match ended up being pretty, I'd say it exceeded expectations.
That's the Balor effect, baby. I think he is definitely feeling good being on the main roster.
Yeah, like we said earlier, rejuvenated Balor.
Absolutely.
All right, so now we can talk about what happened next, which was the New Day title celebration. 337 days, which, I mean, it's great that Raw fell on that day because you add a 1 to it and you have the New Day calling themselves Elite.
Exactly.
That 1337, that might be actually, at this point, that reference might be outdated. I might be aging myself here.
Right. But yeah, here's the thing. Like, the New Day definitely deserve this, as I said on TWitWoW. Personally, I really didn't care for this segment much until Anderson and Gallows came in. And I normally like the New Day stuff, but I thought the whole Sonny Boy thing, I've seen jokes like that. I can't really sink my teeth into them.
What do you mean when you say you've seen jokes like that?
Well, like, where it's like, oh, what's your name? Sonny Boy. And then, no, like, what's your name? And, doing that whole thing. Like, they're giving the actual answer, but the person asking doesn't understand, and they do that whole circle jerk. I've seen jokes like that before, and it just doesn't really land a note with me. But again, New Day deserves the success. I thought it was a great segment, and then you have Anderson and Gallows come out. They beat the crap out of the New Day. And yeah, they take the shirts off of I think it was Kofi and Xavier Woods, blow their nose on them, throw them back, and yeah, Gallows and Anderson have staked their claim for the WWE Tag Team titles.
Which I think you and I both said that they were going to be the ones to take them off the New Day, weren't we?
We did, and I think we even said the venue, SummerSlam. So everything, the stars are aligning, brother.
Man, we are good.
Yeah, man.
All right, so then after, and by the way, I don't know if you mentioned this, but they hit the Magic Killer on Big E. That was impressive.
Good point. I'm glad you brought that up, and yes, they did, and that was really making an emphatic statement. I loved it. I thought this was great.
So then we get the graphic Neville returns tonight before we go to a commercial. And I want to add, I love how well they did advertising what we were going to get on the other side of commercials rather than sticking them in the middle of matches to get people to stay tuned.
Yes, I agree. Absolutely.
So then after this, we had JoJo introducing Curtis Axel as Mr. Irrelevant because he was the last pick in the draft.
And then Curtis kind of takes umbrage with that. He says, I'm not Mr. Irrelevant. And, I'm going to make a statement tonight and all that good shit. And I'm just thinking to myself, no, you're not. No, you're not. Because Neville comes out. What did you think of Neville's return, partner?
Well, before we talk about Neville's return, we've got to talk about this whole Mr. Irrelevant thing.
I mean, here's my thing, right? If anybody deserves the Mr. Irrelevant gimmick, shouldn't it be Heath? Because they even gave him the segment where he was sitting all alone and he hadn't been drafted. So,
no, because if you're not drafted, you can't be Mr. Irrelevant. Mr. Irrelevant is the award that goes to the last person drafted, not somebody that wasn't drafted at all. If you don't get drafted, you're just undrafted.
I mean, that doesn't really make much sense to me. Because
I'm not trying to tell you that's like that my opinion on what it should be. That's just the way that it's always been. Like in the NFL, with the NFL draft, the last pick has always been known as Mr. Irrelevant.
Fair enough. I mean,
the reason that that's like that is because like there are hundreds of people that go undrafted, so you can't just name them all irrelevant.
Right. I get what you're saying. I'll play along. And yeah, it's interesting that they're giving this to Curtis Axel. To me, though, dude, and I just got to be honest, I'm not trying to, bring the mood down on this Raw because it was excellent. But as far as Curtis Axel goes, there's really no reason for me to get excited. Because even if this becomes something, think about how quickly they killed Axelmania. I have got to trust that whatever Curtis Axel is able to build from this, they're going to preserve and treat with some kind of care for a guy that's, on the level of the card that he's at. And so, like, I'd want to get excited about Curtis Axel doing something, but thinking about how Axelmania ended when he really put his back into that and got a legitimate reaction, it's hard for me to get excited.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys that a lot of people in the business and even former people that were in the business think deserves to be recognized and pushed. And anytime somebody's coming back from a long absence or anything like that, he's the first person that they usually go to for training and stuff and coming back.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, I'd love if Curtis Axel would do something bigger because, Brock Lesnar likes him. The Rock likes him. I think you just, mentioned the lineage. Mr. Perfect's son, for God's sakes, and he is always that reliable hand. Like, oh, this guy's returning. Like you said, work with Curtis Axel. So it would be nice if Curtis Axel got that nod of appreciation, even if it was just maybe he turns face and he has a brief program with whoever the United States champion is. I'm imagining it's, still Rusev in this scenario and something like that. If Titus got it, why can't Curtis get it with a little bit of a push? But
and to talk about, I love this. Michael Cole even mentioned this year's Mr. Irrelevant in the NFL draft, Kalen Reed.
Ah, cool.
And it's funny because Kalen Reed is actually a guy that I scouted leading up to the draft and I freaking loved on tape. And then, the athletic testing rolls around and this dude is an athletic freak. He had no reason to be that late drafted. Literally the last guy drafted. He should have been like a third rounder at worst.
That's probably the opinion Curtis Axel has of himself, given the bloodline and everything that he comes from.
Exactly.
And, that's why I hope it becomes something, but where my tentativeness comes in is if Curtis Axel is able to turn this into something, is WWE going to treat it with the respect that his hard work at least warrants, if nothing else. Yeah. So we'll see. But as far as Neville's return, what did you think, bro?
I loved it. There's only so much you can say when he has as quick of a match as he did here.
Right.
But at the same time, it's just great to see him back. It's good to see that he's got, he looks healthy. He's got the beard growing in. I don't think they're going to turn him heel, even though we're using the beard as reason for Roman to be heel. But, the red arrow, rocking red gear now instead of purple on the red brand. I love the whole, the synergy of all of it.
Absolutely. Are we looking at the face of the Cruiserweight division in Neville now that he's back and doing all this stuff?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because, it's certainly not going to be Balor after tonight.
No.
He's got bigger and better things to do.
Yeah, so, Neville, the thing is, he looks massive, but he's still under 200 pounds.
Right. No, I think he's a perfect representative to really get the Cruiserweight division off the ground. It'll be a lot more fun for him in the aftermath of the Cruiserweight Classic. And really my hope, especially if we're going to run with this example of Neville being the face of the division, I hope the Cruiserweight division for guys that really do stand out like Neville, it can be used as a platform for elevation. After a little bit, there should be a reason for Neville to compete for the U.S. title and maybe even one day the WWE Universal Championship. So we'll see.
All right, man. So do we want to move on?
Absolutely.
All right. Up next, we had Darren Young and Bob Backlund. And Darren Young is down in the dumps from not being able to win the Intercontinental Championship last night. He had it in his grasp. But, man, Bob Backlund tries to be encouraging, though. He does.
Yeah, he tells him, this is a war, and your head's got to be in it, and you're going to win that title. And I'd be remiss if I forgot to mention, Golden Truth's interruption with Pokemon Go. I think they said there was like a Jigglypuff or something under Bob Backlund's tie. And I think Bob Backlund was like, do you know that you're deleterious to society? Your antics are ruining society. And Darren Young has to calm him down. That's when Bob Backlund was like, no, it's not a battle. It's not a thing. It's a war. And your head's got to be in it. You're going to win that championship. So, yeah, really trying to lift Darren Young's spirits. I'm curious what they're going to do, because here's the thing. Bob Backlund said you're going to win that championship. How can that be, though, if the Intercontinental title is on SmackDown? Unless they reposition their game plan and they say, oh, Darren Young's going to go after Rusev, and they pretty much just swap opponents, because remember, at Battleground, Rusev faced Ryder, but Miz faced Darren. Now, if at SummerSlam it's Miz and Ryder, and then Darren and Rusev, they could do like a swap.
Yeah,
maybe that'll happen.
I don't know if I like that idea, though.
I don't know if I like it either, but, Bob Backlund, trying to keep Darren Young's head in it. I don't know what they're going to do with him. Maybe now is the start of when this really becomes more of a joke gimmick. And I'll be honest, it's kind of sad if that's the case, because I was really digging it. Yeah. What do you think?
I got to tell you, I kind of hope that they find a way to keep him and The Miz going. I mean, SummerSlam is a crossover, like an interpromotional event. So if you do want to put the title on Darren Young, that's kind of your last opportunity to do it.
It would be very curious, right? Because SmackDown took something from Raw with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And now Raw could take something from SmackDown, and SmackDown would have to invent a new mid-card championship. Maybe that Iron Man 15 title. I just want to
or just the Cruiserweight title, dude.
Or, well, Cruiserweights are exclusive to Raw, though.
Oh, so, I'm sorry. You said SmackDown, yeah.
Yeah. And, like, it'd be very interesting. So you do make a great point. You know, it is cross-promotional. Darren Young may, say, look, it was crazy. A lot of stuff happened, but I want another shot. I don't know how they're going to work it out, but, Bob Backlund seemed very adamant that Darren Young was going to be back in the championship picture, so we'll see how they handle it.
Maybe Bob Backlund is just crazy, and they're going to play off that.
That is certainly true, and we'll
let's
see.
Be real. Bob Backlund being crazy isn't really up for question. It's just whether they're going to run with it or not.
Exactly.
So then we got a really, really well done Finn Balor video package highlighting him, highlighting the Demon, highlighting everything he's done in NXT, including his big win over Owens last year at Beast in the East, and really just doing a great job of making him seem like the big deal that he should be made out to be.
They hyped up Finn Balor so much tonight on every level. I'm telling you, again, it was said, right, when he was down in NXT, Vince, if you screw this up, I'll physically kill you. And I think they've done the complete opposite. They've made Finn Balor seem like the biggest deal, even over guys like Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, if you want my honest opinion. He seemed like legit freaking shit there tonight. I love it.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it shouldn't be weird because he's been not just a big deal, but the biggest deal in NXT for the last freaking 18 months,
Right.
So it's really no surprise that he's getting this treatment, but it's still cool to actually see happen.
I mean, bro, let me ask you. We've talked, we haven't talked recently about it, but we've talked considerably about it in the past. The whole Kevin Dunn and Vince versus Triple H kind of divide. Does this seem Triple H-esque to you? Because he really is a big
100% yes, Triple H.
Yeah, because he has been so high on Balor forever now. And this just really has his fingerprints all over it, which I say as a compliment. Right. This was definitely the right fucking call.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just very interesting. Like, Triple H is probably in everybody's ear like, no, you make him the biggest fucking deal, and that's how we're going to go out, and it works. Everybody is talking about this dude. Like, just huge. So great for Finn.
Absolutely. All right. So after the Finn Balor package, we got a Tom Phillips interview with Charlotte. Of course, Dana Brooke was also around, and Charlotte says that she is leading the women's revolution. Sadly, there were some audio cutouts here where I guess, it's possible that the microphone battery was kind of dying or something like that. So you didn't hear everything Charlotte said, but the general gist was she claims to be leading the women's revolution, and tonight Sasha can bank on it.
Yeah, it was a good promo from Charlotte. I was already hyped for this championship match, knowing that Sasha was going to get her rightful title match. I thought this was good work from Charlotte. Like you said, it had a few hiccups, but, what can really be done? And, yeah, I enjoyed it.
All right, now it's time to really dive in head first because Sasha Banks versus Charlotte for the WWE Women's Championship was next, and this was not only the match of the night, this was better, I think, than any match we got yesterday, save for maybe Kevin Sami, and even then it's close. And this is a match of the year candidate.
I was going to ask you to start your review of the match, but I think you just gave it right there. This was incredible. Oh my God, the effort. These two women put in.
Every time these women step between those ropes, they have magic with each other.
And bro, I've got to give you full credit for something you said while you were talking to me. So these aren't, I agree with your views, but they weren't even originally my views, guys. This is my cohort and commentary here. This crowd started off somewhat apathetic to these two women.
Yeah, they were doing CM Punk chants. There were people trying to get Go Steelers Go chants going on. They didn't care about this match, and they were almost protesting this match for maybe 2 minutes.
Exactly. And then when it kicked into that gear, everybody was hooked.
Yep.
And you know what? The saying goes, success is the best revenge, right? And you have two women. There are a few hecklers in the crowd really wanting to shut this shit down, shit all over it. And their success, their chemistry between the ropes to string together an amazing match, that's the revenge. Because that's what happens. We shut that shit down. Because we can.
Yep.
I fucking love it, dude. These
and
women,
you know what? If you need any further proof that the WWE is actually serious about pushing Sasha Banks and giving her everything, she is the last thing that you see on the WWE's opening signature for Raw now.
Yeah.
Before this whole change-up, it was Roman.
Yes.
Now it's Sasha Banks.
That's amazing, dude. Because, like, and maybe it's just me, but growing up and even for, like, the last 2 years, I've always associated, like, the last person you see on the signature to be the biggest deal.
Yeah.
Like, that's the defining person for the brand. And knowing that it's Sasha, that's fucking huge. And, like, she has worked so hard. You and I have listened to countless Sasha interviews. We know her story. I think everybody knows her story. And she went out and she had the match for life. And to be fair, because I don't want to shortchange her on the last day of at least this reign, because I'm sure knowing Charlotte, there'll be many more to come. She did excellent as well. She carried her fucking weight in this match. Really created a great atmosphere having Dana Brooke get kicked out early. It was Sasha and Charlotte one-on-one. Charlotte does her moonsault to the outside. I thought that was great. Sasha did a suicide dive that looked nasty towards the end, but, had a nice recovery, I guess. Sasha didn't seem hurt at all. And, yeah, they went full fucking throttle, back and forth. And, the ending sequence with Charlotte just looking at Sasha and saying, "You'll never beat me. Never." And then she gets caught in the bank statement. Just amazing. This match was art. That's what this match was to me.
All wrestling is art. This match was really good art.
Exactly. I mean, this match was a masterpiece to me. And, that great job to both of these women. And you know what? Can I say, too, because I know this was something that I was really harping on and I know you signed on to. I want to thank this Pittsburgh crowd for proving me wrong. And I know somebody, even a Lewis, Lewis, I forget the rest of the Twitter name. I know he, don't want to say called us out on it, but he did mention it. How we said, oh, the crowds might sour now because they got a taste of Bayley only for it to be pulled back. They were totally behind Sasha. I have never been happier to be wrong. They were salivating for her to win that match, and the pop she got and the chance she got, she's going to be just fine. And I'm so relieved to say that. Oh, my God. Any other comments you want to make about this match? Because this was fucking crazy.
Well, I mean, just to kind of play devil's advocate, I think if it wasn't for the Sasha Bayley thing last night, maybe they would have been able to extend this feud to SummerSlam so Sasha could have had this win then instead of now.
And that is possible. That is very possible. But you know what? Like, you even said that you felt like it was going down tonight. I was skeptical because my thing is, look, when you're a heel, fine. The valet, they get ejected, but there's still 1,000,001 ways to cheat. And it's kind of poetic because Sasha kind of pulled an Eddie Guerrero, that lying, cheating, and stealing to get Dana Brooke ejected in the first place. I thought that was a great homage there.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, they went out and they had a killer match. And yeah, while it's still on my mind, I mean, BX Girl HS, you've got to be losing your goddamn shit even still. Because that match, easily to me, match of the night. And I think you even said, to preface it, match of the year contender. I would agree with that as well. They fucking killed it. Oh, my God. And yeah, Sasha Banks, by submission, your new WWE Women's Champion. And can I tack on to that? In singles competition one-on-one, still not beaten. And now she's the champion. How fucking legit is Sasha Banks?
Like, she's a legit boss.
Exactly. Well said. Well fucking, because now whoever steps up to beat her and end that reign, regardless of how long it is, to me, because of all of that, is going to be the biggest deal. This is just such smart booking. Oh my God. I could get so used to this if WWE would just continue it, because everything about this was just so right. And Sasha was in tears, smile on her face. I believe it was Byron Saxton came in the ring, or it may have been Tom Phillips, I'm not sure. And, said, Sasha, how are you feeling? And the crowd's chanting, "You deserve it," and they just haven't stopped, and it was raucous. She's got this smile on her face, and the first thing she said was, "I did it." She said, "I told everybody, since I was 10 years old, I was going to be the best, I was going to do this, and I did it. And, I did it for the future. It's a new era, and every night I come out here, I am going to show that I am the boss." And that's pretty much the promo, and such a great title win. Man, did this Raw feel special. And I think this is one of the biggest reasons why we got a title change tonight on this Raw. And it was a championship match that felt important. Just great.
Yep.
Anything else you want to say, brother?
Yeah, no, I just... This match was an excellent showcase of what both of these women were capable of. And, here's the thing. I know that you and I like to just kind of put our fingers in our ears and act like this kind of stuff doesn't exist, but there are still a lot of people out there who see women's wrestling as a piss break.
Right.
And I genuinely hope that even if it was just 1%, I genuinely hope that this match changed those people's minds.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that this title reign can bring those people back into the fold, because I can't even really be that critical of those people, because how many times, Ashton, have you and I mocked, even the phrasing, the branding, women's revolution or divas revolution, and we're like, stop saying it, pick up your fucking guns, metaphorically speaking, and have it. And this match was them doing just that. And now with the Sasha Banks title reign, this title reign needs to be predicated on bringing those types of fans back into the fold.
Yep.
Let Sasha go out and do her thing. It's a match like this, and that's why I can't wait to read the AV Club's review tonight, though I think Kyle probably wrote this week, and not, the woman I'm even trying to think of. I can't even, this Raw was so amazing, my mind's everywhere. But yeah, Latoya Ferguson, that's right. It's matches like this that made her say Sasha Banks is the best wrestler in the world right now. Didn't qualify it with women, didn't qualify with anything. Best wrestler in the world right now, and it's matches like this that give credence to statements like that. Just amazing.
This is great.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Unreal.
All right, guys. Well, there's not really much else to say, so I guess we should move on. And by the way, during that post-match promo that you were referring to when Sasha talked about how she did it and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Constant yes chants, constant you deserve it chants. The crowd was 100% invested in her having gotten this win.
Yes, absolutely.
That right there alone is great to see, especially because, as you pointed out, that I mentioned earlier on in the night, this crowd was relatively dead for a lot of this show, and especially at the beginning of this match.
They resuscitated it, and I hope that the important people, the backstage people that have the influence, took note of that.
Yeah.
Because that's what Sasha Banks' championship reign can do for you for the women's division. Just run with that shit, man. Don't even think about it. Just run with it.
Yep.
So good.
Absolutely. All right, so now let's move on. Braun Strowman versus James Ellsworth.
What'd you think about this squash match?
My favorite part was James Ellsworth's pre-match promo. I mean, first of all, it's worth pointing out this man does not possess a chin. I don't know why. I don't know how somebody can get through life without a chin, but congratulations to this man for living as long as he has, and not only living, but thriving. I mean, he is a professional wrestler. That's impressive for a man without a chin. I don't even know how he manages to consume as much food as is required in order to gain the muscle to become a pro wrestler. So, massive props. I've never seen a chinless man. I mean, we've seen legless men in pro wrestling, but never a chinless man.
Yeah. I mean, you guys should know with Johnny Scumbag right now, I know Lewis certainly did on Twitter, there is nothing more delicious to me than when a meager little shit has hope and it just immediately gets snuffed out. Because that's what James Ellsworth was to me. He was a guy that was like, well, maybe I could do it. You were deluding yourself. And I laughed the entire time. You have no idea how delectable your failure was to me. So thank you for existing, chin or not, because your failure is the most gratifying thing I've ever experienced, and Zack Ryder lost the Intercontinental title. Just amazing.
Wow, that was visceral.
Yeah.
Do you feel better?
I do. Oh, it was amazing. I mean, failures like that, just, oh my God, it's a delicacy.
I was going to say, I feel like you're going to be like, mwah.
Yeah. Oh, God, so good.
Well, I mean, that being said, he got promptly, and the thing too is that he even had this air of like, I'm about to get the shit kicked out of me, but he wanted to sound confident, so he was just like, well, I know I'm the underdog, but if I can pull off this upset, it's going to do amazing things for my career.
I've always kind of walked through life wondering why people like this even try, and I got the answer tonight. It's clearly for my own amusement.
I was going to say, for your entertainment, John.
I mean, Braun Strowman, the only thing that would have made this match better, and I even tweeted this, which shows that I'm already missing Lucha Underground, is if he would have severed this man's spine, just ripped him clean in half and drank his blood. Like, that would have just been incredible. But we didn't get that. I will say, slight nitpick, I don't really care too much if this is Braun Strowman's finisher. I like the kind of twisting cutter that he was using, like the Dominator into the cutter.
Oh, you know what, though? I think he's used both that and this before.
I do agree, yeah. Yeah. So I think I'll back off a little bit.
I don't really care about either one, honestly. I don't really have a preference. I mean, I feel like there are better, simpler, more effective finishers that a big man like Strowman could do than these kind of like convoluted, let me take 30 seconds to set this guy up and then throw him down really hard kind of moves.
I mean, dude, here's the thing, and maybe, oh God, I don't want to sound like Jim Cornette because ew.
Oh
Cornette.
God, are you going to say something about how much better things were back in the 80s?
Oh God, no! I might as well go throw a temper tantrum in a Dairy Queen right now. I mean, this is a guy in Strowman with his look. He could bring credibility back to a move like the bear hug. I'm not saying they should, but if you want to talk about, like, you know,
we already talked about that with Nia Jax when she was debuting.
Absolutely, and Braun Strowman fits that same mold. Like, just catch him and then just kind of.
Well, he uses a bear hug against more, worthy opponents.
Right.
I mean, he doesn't use it as a finisher, but he does use it as a setup to that, like, over the shoulder, like you said, like cutter neckbreaker thing.
Right.
So it's not like he doesn't use a bear hug. It's just, I don't think we're gonna get that magic bear hug finisher that Paul Heyman was talking about on the Steve Austin podcast that one time.
Yeah, that's probably never happening. But, yeah, I mean, a good outing for Strowman. And now, like, let me ask you, so we can talk about more interesting stuff than Braun Strowman's finisher, because, I mean, it is this now, and for a guy his size, I guess it will work. Now's the start of the singles push. What I'm going to ask you, it's kind of a two-parter. One, do we find space for Braun Strowman on the SummerSlam card? And B, if we don't opt for that...
I mean, if we do find room for him on the SummerSlam card, it'll be another squash like this, except against someone a little bit more legitimate like Kane. I don't know.
Maybe like SummerSlam kickoff or something, if it's going to be a match like that.
Maybe even they'll put him against Big Show. You never know.
But I mean, like, for you, I mean, and that, what I was going to ask you was, what's your, I don't want to say long term, because I don't want you to think too far into the future, but what's your end game for Braun Strowman as far as, like, the first big program? Is it Big Show?
Definitely Big Show, yeah. I mean, Big Show is, like, if you just look down the Raw roster, Big Show stands out like a sore thumb.
You know what? If we're going to do that, then I hope we don't take too long to get Strowman versus Mark Henry, and then maybe Big Show comes out and he stands nose to nose or face to face or whatever with Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
We do that.
Maybe.
All right, man. I agree with you, man. Yeah, I definitely think that's a good program. I don't know how long it's going to take before Strowman is competing for the Raw Universal Championship, because if nothing else, I could see him being like that kind of contender that the Great Khali was, that just, like, if you just look at him, like, he's going to be an obstacle to anybody, and they want to kind of exhaust that utility. So I'm curious about that. So we'll see.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Strowman dominates and wins with a backwards, sort of like a reverse chokeslam almost.
Yeah.
And then we get a Roman Reigns video package, similar to Finn's, only Roman, because he's on the main roster, they show his main roster accolades.
Yes.
And then Enzo and Cass come out.
Yes. Pretty much do their usual shtick. they get cut off by the Shining Stars, who say that, oh, we're going to make sure you all get a vacation to Puerto Rico so you can leave this dump of Pittsburgh. You know, you don't need the Steel City, just come to Puerto Rico where it's beautiful.
Come to Puerto Rico, the shining star of the Caribbean.
Actually, let me ask you something before we really unpack this match.
Okay.
Because Enzo and Cass did this, and we already can kind of surmise what the Shining Stars are going to be doing, which seems apropos with how they've been built up and promoted. It seems to make sense. But do you think that the SummerSlam match is just going to be New Day versus the Club, or do you think the Realist guys are going to find a way in there? Because my thing is, the Realist guys won last night on the pay-per-view. And yet it seems like that, the Club is going to be going after the tag team titles. Does that seem even a little bit backwards to you, or what are your thoughts on that?
We kind of had a discussion about this last night, didn't we? About how sometimes someone will lose the pay-per-view and then get pushed even further up the card afterwards.
Yeah, I think I was the one that made that statement kind of as a joke, and I even mentioned AJ. Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I like the Club. This isn't me being like, oh, down with the Club. It is a bit weird, because now what do Enzo and Cass do? I'm very curious what the answer to that's going to be, actually.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, we did kind of think that they would feud with, I don't know, maybe, well, no, because you think that the Shining Stars are going to end up feuding with Golden Truth, right?
Unless
Dudleys.
Dudleys could be, unless you do.
Needs to be the Dudley Boys. They started a feud with the Dudley Boys leading into that tournament that they ended up getting injured in, and then we just forgot about it afterwards. That needs to be what happens, because you look up and down this Raw roster, and the only tag team that's going to be able to offer anything to the Realist guys, as far as being able to teach them stuff that they don't already know, it's the freaking Dudleys.
Bro, to be fair, I think the Dudleys is actually pretty complete, because I know they did the handicap matches with Cass and he squashed them, but then when Enzo came back, I know they did a match on Raw where they beat the Dudleys there too.
I don't care.
Even said what a huge win it was.
They need to do more with that, because that I understand maybe there was a sense of completion to the feud the last time that we had it, but this is one of those rare feuds where it's okay to go back to the well, because the Enzo and Cass are at a point now where they're kind of peaking a little bit. I don't want them to come down. I want them to keep going up, 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 and up. And
maybe
put them against. I mean, realistically, they could probably just come out and cut sort of a random promo every week, face a random team every week. You could even have them facing, local competitors' teams and stuff like that.
Right.
And that could get you to SummerSlam, and then after SummerSlam, they could challenge the Club for the titles.
Or, and here's what I'm thinking might happen, and just my opinion, because I like your idea of invoking the Dudleys. Raw's got the tag teams, and we even mentioned that Raw's pretty much got everything, but yeah, one of the things they do have is the tag teams. And why not flaunt it? You know what I think they're going to do? At SummerSlam, I think they're going to do a Fatal 4-Way Tag Team #1 Contenders match. Dudleys, Golden Truth, Shining Stars, Enzo and Cass. Winners get a future WWE Tag Team title shot.
Yep.
And yeah, Enzo and Cass could win that match. I could totally see them doing that at SummerSlam.
I can dig that, man.
Yeah. Because it just ties everything together. Because, yeah, just to get to the actual match, guys, not really much to talk about. The Shining Stars got to do some stuff, and really I want to emphasize some, because it didn't seem like much at all. But then Golden Truth comes out. They're playing Pokemon Go in the ring. That distracts Primo, who eats a boot to the face from Cass, and they don't even bother with the bada boom shakalaka. Cass just pins him off of that. And then commentary noted, well, Primo was distracted, so Golden Truth cost him that match. I guess that was their way of protecting the Shining Stars.
Yeah.
The only reason I could think of for protecting a team that you've barely promoted is if you're going to throw all these teams together for something. So, yeah, I'm thinking that's what's going to happen at SummerSlam.
I mean, that would be a great way of protecting a lot of teams, maybe even potentially changing titles. You never know.
Absolutely, man. I completely agree.
Dude, when was the last time we had a tag team gauntlet match?
I know. I
feel like the last good tag team gauntlet match that we had was the one that the Dashing Dreams team won. Cody.
Yes, dude. I love tag team turmoil. I'd love if they bring that back.
Yeah. Oh man.
And because it's SummerSlam, you can make it cross promotional and American fucking Alpha. Oh my god. He's so good.
There you go, man. There you go. All right. So we get to the closing segment here, Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor, and I don't think anyone predicted this. I think it really did feel like Roman versus Seth was locked in for SummerSlam, no questions asked, and then we get to this match and it starts, and you kind of do get a weird feeling like, are they really, like, is Roman in that much hot water? And then it happened.
I mean, bro, here's the thing. I feel like I did a good bulk of the talking for the women's championship. This main event was so huge. I want all your thoughts. First of all, what do you think about this decision? And my second most immediate question, even though I may be asking the wrong one, what does Roman do for SummerSlam? Like, just talk to me, dude. Like, what's going on in your head about all this?
I think the SummerSlam question is the big one, because he really doesn't have anything to do, does he?
Dude, I'm just going to say right now, first of all, no, he doesn't, to answer your question. I want a Cesaro Roman Reigns program. If Roman Reigns is moving down the card, let's do some fucking good with it. I want Roman Reigns versus Cesaro at SummerSlam. And people may hate me for that because they may think, oh, Cesaro deserves better. Roman Reigns, I think, still has that prestige, in his name and what he's done, like the past year and everything before all this happened, that Roman Reigns being in a program with him and maybe even beating him in a match could do wonders for him. And he's salty because he wanted to be on SmackDown because he thought that was going to be the wrestling show. Give him that. I would love if Cesaro got up in Roman's face and maybe even did like a little line like, oh, why were you gone for so long? And, doing that controversial pot shot. And we get a SummerSlam match. That's what I want for Roman personally.
Yes.
I mean, what are you thinking?
No, dude, Cesaro would be great. Rusev would be great.
Yeah.
If we're trying to keep Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens separated, let's do Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns.
Yes.
Or, I mean, if they are committed to kind of having Roman play up the heel aspect, let him go against Sami.
Yes, dude. I'm telling, and look, I'm a Kevin Owens fan through and through. I think everybody and their mother knows that. I personally want, that's my two tier, either Cesaro or Sami, because I mean, Roman, before this match even happened, we don't have to go like in depth about it, but the exchange that Roman and Balor had, Balor's like, oh, good luck, Roman. Oh, you too, man. Oh, luck. I'm Irish. We invented luck. And then Roman's just like, I'm Samoan. Nuff said. And he walks up. Like, that's Roman Reigns in a nutshell. Has this fucking chip on his shoulder. He's an arrogant douche, but he's not a heel. And if you put him, and can I just note, and again, I'm not feeding into the bullshit, and I don't want to, put it out there for anybody. Roman did seem to work heel in this match, because he starts this match straight out of the gate, tossing Finn Balor. Almost as if to say, I'm imposing my will. You're a fucking shrimp that just came in here. This is my yard, and you're going to learn it. Now, if he did the same thing to a guy as beloved as Sami Zayn at SummerSlam, you'd be telling a great story right out of the gate. Yeah, I think it needs to be Sami Zayn or Cesaro, dude. I don't know what you do with Kevin Owens. That's another question, because I don't want him to slide down the card all of a sudden. That's going to take some figuring out, but hell, we'll put it together. I mean, just Roman Reigns, what he does at SummerSlam, I think is going to be very interesting to watch unfold.
Yeah. And here, let's just point out, though, Finn Balor is facing Seth Rollins at SummerSlam for the WWE Universal Championship. But who are we talking about, John?
Oh, you mean the thing, like the longest reigning NXT champion versus the very first NXT champion? Like,
no,
I've been mentioning?
I mean, we're talking about Roman Reigns.
Right. Yeah, we're talking about Roman Reigns.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, Finn Balor did this big thing, and yet we're sitting here talking about Roman Reigns.
Yeah, we'll get to Finn Balor in a second, because I have quite a bit to say about him, too.
I'm trying to get the point across, though, that even when Roman isn't winning, even when Roman doesn't end up main eventing a show, we still find him coming out of our mouths.
Exactly. Yeah. It's crazy.
He's still a point of talking. He's still a topic of interest.
Conversation, yeah. Absolutely. It's just crazy. I'm very curious what he's going to do at the pay-per-view. But, like, to your point, we know what's happening at the pay-per-view. Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. I've already mentioned. Yeah, and also, both guys use the sling blade. That's another thing, too. Battle of the sling blades.
Does Seth?
Yeah, I've seen Seth use the sling blade, I think.
Oh.
So yeah, I maybe he took it out of his repertoire because Balor, was getting called up. But it would be interesting to see him break that out. But here, and I gotta do it, and I'm not even necessarily saying I'm feeding into it, but it is interesting. We've got Gallows and Anderson potentially challenging for the tag titles. Finn is challenging for the title on Raw. Is something going to happen here, Ashton, or do you think they're going to keep their distance for a little bit?
I don't know.
I mean, the stage is set if they want to do it.
It is. It is. I mean, after all, Gallows and Anderson said, hey, guys, I mean, you say we're split up, but we came here to take over the WWE, and now we're on Raw and SmackDown.
Right.
I mean, I got to tell you, I don't think they're going to go there right away. They might go there eventually, but I don't think they're going to rush that. I think that that's something that they're going to let stew for a while.
So, again, speaking purely in the realm of hypothetical, because SmackDown's tomorrow and what unfolds then is going to unfold then, but hypothetically, if we had, say, AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, would you see club interference in that match more likely, simply because that they've only expanded? Or what are you thinking?
I don't think so.
Really? Interesting.
I don't see it, man. I don't see it. I think that they're going to keep their distance for a while.
I'm not feeding into it either. In fact, I'm inclined to agree with you, if I'm being honest. I just think it would be hilarious if, like, all this talk of a double turn because, it's Roman and it's Seth, it dies down, only to actually have it happen, except it's Finn Balor and Seth doing the double turn and not Roman and Seth. But I don't think it'll happen. I think WWE feels like they have a good thing with Finn Balor being a babyface right now.
And, I mean, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and say, and just toss this out there, I really do. I feel like they're going to have Finn win.
See, I don't know. And see, that's
you want to know the main reason I say that, though?
Why do you say that?
Protect the demon.
Yeah. But this is the main roster, though. They may not give a shit about that. I don't know.
I don't think Triple H would be very happy with that.
And it depends on how much pull he has in that SummerSlam match and the booking of it. Because I know he likes Seth and I know he likes Finn, but I think Finn is the pet project right now. Mm-hmm. I don't know, dude. I can't really say much about it. And that's why I'm glad we do preview and predictions, because that gives me enough time to marinate on stuff like this to come to a conclusion, whether it's right or wrong. I can't even think about that right now because, on one hand, what a rocket to the fucking moon. If Finn was the man in one place, only to transition and become the man of that other place. I mean, even Roman Reigns, so I'm sure WWE would want to make a huge deal in the post-match promo. Roman, how do you feel? I hope he goes and he beats Seth Rollins for that championship, and if he does, I want to face him again. I respect that, dude, and that's actually what Roman Reigns said. I'm not, phoning anything in there.
No. Yeah, he's completely, that's exactly as Roman said it.
Yeah. And, they went to war and Finn Balor emerged victorious. But then when you look at Seth, I don't know, man, because Stephanie is very supportive of Seth. I think she's neutral on Finn Balor. So I don't think there will be any shenanigans, but maybe it's too close to call. I know what the Smark Show thinks, and to Stephen Herman, bro, I hope you're fucking, champagne showers and everything like I tweeted to you. As a Johnny Mundo fan, I know what it's like to be in that world title picture, to come that close. I hope you have an even bigger reason to celebrate at SummerSlam. So I already know what he's probably thinking. For me, though, I have to go Seth right now.
God, you're waffling.
Yeah. No, I'm going with Seth. I'm going with Seth. I don't think Balor's going to get it this soon. But I will say this.
We didn't think that Finn Balor would be main eventing SummerSlam this soon either, and here we are.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to push him that far. Hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Really. I really don't give a shit at this point. I've been wrong so many times, I'm numb to it. But I don't think they're going to push Finn that hard that fast. I think they're going to tease it.
What can we do to get you to care about whether you're right and wrong again?
Probably nothing. But I could more easily see Finn Balor and Seth Rollins as a rematch for Night of Champions next month. Than just Finn winning straight away at SummerSlam. Because I think they want a heel inaugural champion to build up that babyface sympathy. Because they've already got a babyface champion on SmackDown in Dean. So, and if he keeps it at SummerSlam, I could easily see Raw wanting a heel champion on their side. So, yeah, I'm going to say Seth wins.
Oh, man. And you know what, too, is, like, you say They want a heel to build up that blah, blah, blah. Seth shouldn't be a heel in the first place.
I agree with you.
They're getting so much right, but they still can't get the big stuff right.
Well, and the only way they could make Seth face is if they did a double turn, but with Finn, and I don't even know if that's the right call. So, like, they are in kind of a bind. But yeah, I do see Seth going over. So we'll see, though. We'll see. I mean, right now, though, the big story is Finn's going to SummerSlam. He's competing for the championship in his first pay-per-view match on the main roster. And again, I love Kevin Owens to death, but he wanted to talk about, my first pay-per-view match, I beat John Cena. Finn could turn to him potentially and say, yeah, my first pay-per-view match, I became the fucking champion. Like, unreal. Finn Balor fans have got to be foaming at the mouth right now knowing they're that close. Holy shit. Just amazing. Man. Anything else you want to say about it, man?
No, I don't think so. I think that this is a really interesting development that Finn won, and that Finn, not only did he win, but here's the big thing right here. Not only did he win, not only did he beat Roman Reigns, this is Roman Reigns' first ever singles clean loss since FCW.
We wouldn't count Money in the Bank as a singles clean loss to Seth?
Ref bump.
I see what you're saying.
This was clean as a freaking whistle. There is literally nothing that you can say to argue in Roman's favor for this.
Right.
Nothing.
How crazy is that? No wonder Roman put him over at the end.
Yeah, clean as it can be.
Yeah. They gave Finn Balor the royal fucking treatment tonight, and I ain't complaining about it. He was the number 5 draft pick, the first NXT pick overall of 6.
Yeah, he was drafted ahead of Roman. Roman was the 7th pick, actually.
Yeah.
Or maybe even like the 6th or the 8th. I don't remember. You know what? Believe it or not, I actually still have the draft results pulled up. Roman was picked number 6 overall, so he was one after Finn.
Yeah, and it's funny, at least as it regards, the men's side of things in the world title, they kind of had a draft hierarchy because the higher picks won their fatal 4-ways. And then the higher pick between the two guys, Finn and Roman, he came out on top. So actually, in an indirect way, because I don't know if WWE meant to do this, but it actually makes their draft mean something in my mind. Because, look at all these higher number guys. We were smart to draft them because look at the wins they're racking up. That's great shit, dude.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, I thought this Raw, man. So good. Are you ready for the next segment?
Yes.
High spots and low shots. Low shot, Roman Reigns. I mean, you're right there. I mean, I know you at least got there in the main event, but it's it's all on you. You lost, and as my co-horn commentary just said, clean as a whistle, too. No ref bump, no interference. You ate that coup de grace, and you didn't kick it. And when Finn hit it, because I thought Roman might move out of the way, I'm like, no. And then he gets the 3 count. Yeah, Roman, man. And you figure the loss at Battleground where he also ate the pin. Roman is definitively my low shot, dude.
Yeah, he had a rough night.
Yeah.
He did win. He did win the Fatal 4-Way, but man, other than that, just bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Who's your low shot?
My low shot, yeah. Can I have a co-low shot between 2 people?
You can do whatever the hell you want. It's our podcast.
My low shot is going to be shared by Britt Baker and James Ellsworth.
Amazing.
I mean, hey, you got to be on Monday Night Raw, which is great. But still, you got wrecked hard by 2 gigantic human beings.
So much for the meek inheriting the earth my ass. The Giants just ripped them apart. That's fucking great. All right. High spot. And I think we'll have a co-high spot about this. For me, honestly, no. No, you know what? I want to make Sasha Banks my high spot. Maybe that's what you meant about co-high spot. She won the women's championship. And she got to shut Charlotte down because Charlotte even said before that loss, you'll never beat me. And then she beat her. Womp, womp, womp. So, good job, Sasha. Easily my high spot.
That's awesome. And I mean, hey, you left me the easiest pick of them all. Finn Balor, my high spot.
Oh, what a fucking night he had.
What a
Oh
night.
my
What a
God.
night for NXT.
Yes, dude.
Finn Balor, Sasha Banks, man. Enzo and Cass.
Nia Jax.
Right? Yeah, Nia Jax dominant. Yeah, man. NXT had a great night tonight, but yeah, still, Finn Balor is my high spot. He just killed it. He got the superstar treatment right off the bat. Michael Cole talking about how he's a former so-and-so many time New Japan Junior Heavyweight Champion, so-and-so many time IWGP Junior Tag Team Champion, so-and-so, or I think that he even brought up that he won 2 Best of Super Juniors tournaments in Japan. Like, really building the crap out of him, and then he beats Rusev, so he pinned the United States champion with the coup de grace, and then Roman freaking Reigns, just in one night, he pinned the United States champion and the Golden Boy.
Yeah.
That, I mean, if that's not high spot material, I don't know what is.
Hey, the demon has fucking risen, and everybody else better take notice.
Yep.
Holy shit. Next segment, Raw request. Here's my Raw request. Do this again, please. Holy shit, this Raw was amazing. You need, like, when baking a cake or cupcakes or whatever, you always write down the recipe. You need to just kind of pick apart the recipe of this Raw. Of course, change it, keep up the storylines fresh and everything else, but you need to do whatever you did again. Just switch the players around and change the tone from time to time, because this Raw was excellent. Replication. That is my Raw request. Replication. One freaking word. This was so good. So good.
It really was.
What's your Raw request?
My Raw request is to continue building on your momentum from this week, but do not, and I repeat, do not start hot-shotting titles every week just because you had an amazing reception for a title change tonight.
Exactly.
Yours is more like, do more of this. Mine is, do more of this, be reserved about it, you know?
Exactly.
You don't want to blow everything. You don't want to blow your wad every single week.
No, you don't, because that's a TNA maneuver to me.
Yeah.
You don't want to go that route. Look, this match was fine because Sasha's been chasing that championship forever. Her and Charlotte have the storied history. Like, the atmosphere was there. You're not always going to have that atmosphere, and that's when TV championship matches of this caliber should happen, when you have that atmosphere. So I agree. You know, to pull back on it, be reserved always. But yeah, I mean, just keep up that momentum, man. Momentum is everything.
Absolutely.
All right, and now, final segment, 30-second hot seat. I'm in such a good mood. You could throw me a fireball, I wouldn't care. So what do you got for me?
Yeah, man. I mean, here's the thing. So much went down tonight, I've got to basically throw a dart at a dartboard with pictures of everyone that was on Raw tonight on it. So let me do this. Again, this is going to seem random because there was just so much going on tonight. I can't pick any one storyline that really means more than everything else. So what I'm going to say is, who do you think Neville's first big program, since he's returned now, is going to be? And to kind of up the ante a little bit, do you think that he's going to go after any championships? And if so, which one or which ones? You have 30 seconds. Your time starts now.
You know what? Because I really can't see what else he's going to be doing since that Kurt Angle rumor didn't pan out tonight. I could see Rusev and Neville having a program at SummerSlam. Neville, it seemed like he was primed to win the Intercontinental title before he got hurt. And now that he's back, I think they don't want to waste much time. So yeah, I think Rusev Neville's going to be the SummerSlam match, and Neville might actually go over.
Wow. That was 20 seconds, so great job.
Excellent.
That's what happens when WWE puts on a great show that makes everything feel like it matters. I don't really have anything I can really pin down to be like, okay, this is going to be your 30-second hot seat. This is the big story coming out of the show, because there was too many big stories to pick just one.
Exactly. Any concluding remarks about this Raw?
I don't think so. Man. I think that this was just a really, really great Raw that we're going to need to cherish and hope that they can continue on their momentum here.
Hey, my concluding remarks simply to all the fans again that live tweeted with me, during Raw tonight. I love you guys. I had so much fun. To all the fans that are celebrating their favorites, BX Girl HS with Sasha, the Smark Show with Finn Balor. Guys, raise those glasses high. It was your night tonight. This Raw was exceptional. And with that said, this has been Raw. This has been TWitWoW. The best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment and subscribe on YouTube. Remember, for Raw reviews, the 30-second hot seat is always the question we want you to answer down below. So, what is the first big program that Neville is going to be involved in, now that he's returned? And is it going to involve any championships? So be sure to talk about Neville down below. And guys, we will see you again for our SmackDown Live review tomorrow night. I'll tell you, SmackDown better do something seismic to respond to Raw. We've been kind of, thinking that SmackDown got the shaft in the draft. Can they pack a power punch? That remains to be seen. But until then, tune in and peace out.